Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial for the Crafternoon Box by Papercrafting Australia. My name is Tanji and it's really awesome to have you joining us for another tutorial. If you haven't been live with us before, welcome. If you're watching on a replay, thanks, and I hope you enjoy catching up on the class that we're doing today. So I'm just going to quickly double check that everything's working just to make sure that we can all chat and see your comments and things like that. Tony Bensley, I can see you're in on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. One of our favourite supporters. I'm just going to make sure I can get to these lovely Facebook friends that come and join us. Swipe left. Let's have a look. Linda Hum is in the house. Hi, Linda. Good to have you here as well with all your new craft toys. I'm sure you're going to have a great time making some things today. But yeah, happy Saturday, everybody. We finally made it to the end of another week. Hi, Mum. Yes, it's Saturday. Did I say something wrong? No? I know a couple of weeks ago I did a pre-record and I said, I don't know what day I said, but it was not the right day. So anyway, hopefully I'm getting my stuff right. Hi, Margaret. Thank you for joining us from Canada. Late evening on a Friday night for you over there, I think. You're going to pop over to Facebook. Okay, do that. Lovely. So it's great to have you all coming in. Just going to make sure that my overhead camera is still working today. You know how my favourite trick in the world is to forget to turn that little switch off that says, you know, go to sleep after 30 seconds. And when I don't do anything, it goes to sleep. But yeah, so today we are going to be making a diagonal double pocket card rather, which I think is a really great way of being able to add little things to a card. So, you know, we often give gifts at the moment, which are, you know, gift cards or gift vouchers that, you know, you kind of have to print at home on an A4 piece of paper and then fold up and wedge in a card somewhere. Well, this actually gives that item a great place to go and be kept all in the one with the card. So I really love this one. You know, you can pop little notes or messages in there. You could pop in a little photograph. You can pop in, you know, if it's a 21st birthday and someone's giving a speech, you know, it's a really nice thing to, you know, pop that copy of your speech into the card and give that to the person so that they can keep that for their little glory box of things. Hello, Deb Stevenson. Welcome to YouTube. Thank you. I don't know who else is in here. Margaret, it's hilarious watching you go from from YouTube to Facebook. Hello, Margaret Young. Thank you for joining us. Linda might need a craft invention after all the fab things she got. Yes, Linda did get very spoilt for her birthday last weekend. She has a lot of things to play with. But I think we're done probably waiting for people to join us. They can catch up. There's a little bit to get through before we get to that point. So let's have a look at what is on the desk for today. So these are the items that you would have gotten in your Crafternoon box. And I do have to send out an apology to the lovely Marie Quinn because I packed quite a lot of stuff into her box this month because she'd added a lot of next box items. And I packed and I repacked and I unpacked and I repacked it so many times to fit everything in that in the end I actually forgot to put in her glitter tape and her ink pad. So that's on its way, express post to you, Marie. It should be there mid this week. So I know we've got to get it all the way to WA and then out into the regional type areas. So we'll get that done to you. Hello, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us again. Good to have you back. So in your box for the month of May, you would have gotten this lovely little sheet of paper. Goes through the items that are in the box in case you need to reorder. Something takes your fancy and you want a little bit more of it, you can order that from our website. And I've also popped in just a reminder that we've got the biggest Crafternoon tea coming up. That is going to be held on the 29th of May, so there's a little bit of time until we hold it. But orders are going to close this Wednesday, or the 12th of May. So get your orders in if you want one of the kits, which includes all the crepe paper and the wire and the floristry tape that we're going to need to create these beautiful daffodils. So that is that's a happening. Our little craft postcard for this month is to craft or not to craft. That is not even a question. So hopefully that one's taking pride of place in your craft rooms this month. We can also order these ones on the website as well. So if you've missed out on some in the past, you want to go back and have a bit of a look through and see what's there. Happy days. Hi, Jenny McGowan. Thank you for resubscribing. I got your email and I sent you one back just before we went live. So thank you very much for dealing with the subscription issues that we had with a couple of our orders last month that didn't renew this month. It's a little bit of a setting that had somehow turned itself off. Facebook was too glitchy. Oh, sorry about that, Margaret. I don't know. This is why we do it on both platforms, so that if one is not working, we can switch to the other. So this here is the double diagonal pocket card that we're going to be having a go at making today. So as you can see, I can get in here, I can get in here. So there's these two double pockets on the front. And then opening up to just a regular card on the inside. You may want to put an additional piece of card into the back. This one is, because it's the patterned paper, it's a little bit flimsy, but you might want to put a white piece of paper to write on, or you might be happy to write on there. It really comes down to how you fold your card when we do this. So I'll show you that once we get there. But this is what we're going to be making today. I'm also going to be playing and doing some embellishments today with the gold and silver twine that we got and the mint pearls. So these are the Kaisercraft mint pearls, so just something a little bit different from rhinestones this month. Of course, you can go back and get green rhinestones if you would prefer. We are using these beautiful patterned paper from Paper Rose Studios in Adelaide, South Australia. They're in Stirling, but Adelaide is the closest geographical reference for anyone who doesn't know where Stirling is. It's up in the Adelaide Hills. So these beautiful papers and sentiments. This is from the pack that is called Nature Stroll, and we have that available in our online store as well. Now this one we do actually have a 12 by 12 inch sheet, which you'll see in just a moment, that we're going to be using for today. We've also got some vellum in the pack. So this is A4 vellum that we get through Couture Creations. So this is going to be available in the store if it's, I can't remember if I've uploaded it yet, but there's two types in here. One is a little bit lightweight. It's 110 GSM, and I'm not using it today, but the thicker one, which is 150 GSM. So just depending, you know, what you want looks wise. As you can see, it kind of gives that nice, beautiful frosted type effect when you put it over an image, and just adds a little bit of interest. So even though I didn't use it in my example today, I am actually going to use it in the one that I make today. We have got, so I'm going to pop a few things aside, drag that over a little bit so it's a bit closer. We've got the Kaisercraft weave cardstock, so I've got 3 colours of that for you this month. So we've got the caramel, we've got guacamole, and we've got Marekesh. So this is kind of a, you know, orangey red kind of. I thought it went really well with the native kind of theme that we had going on. And even though it's not a pink, it does actually kind of blend in quite well. And it just reminded me of the, you know, the outback and Uluru and that beautiful red dirt that gets caked on everything if you drive out into those areas. So they are the colours of cardstock that we are using this month. I've also got some smooth white Kaisercraft cardstock. So this one's the really handy one. It doesn't have the weave texture in it. So it's great for putting on the inside of your cards if you need somewhere to write that isn't patterned and, you know, a little bit difficult to read things on. And we've got the Couture Creations photographic matte black cardstock as well. I don't think I'm actually going to use any black in there, but I just wanted to run through for people, just because it's the first kit of the month. If people are joining us and haven't got themselves a kit, they're kind of getting a bit of a look at what is in the kits usually. So this is the 12 by 12 version of this little 6 by 6 paper by Paper Rose. So this one, if you want to order a sheet of this one or a pack of 10 sheets or something like that, this is called Nature Stroll A. So they letter all of their large papers, and we can purchase those individually rather than as part of the 6 by 6 pads. So it is exactly the same as the smaller one. It's just a bigger version of the print, and it's just absolutely beautiful. don't know if you can hear how thick that is compared to just like a normal piece of paper. And they also have a very slight sheen to them. So they're heavyweight. They're 200 or 220 GSM. They're actually quite thick for a patterned paper, but I think that's what we all love about them, is that they're really sturdy. They help give extra weight and thickness and strength to your cardstock bases. So well done, Paper Rose. We love using your things. All right, let's get into it. What have we got? Hello, Kim McKenzie. Thank you for joining us over on Facebook. Easy to fix, says Jenny. I don't know what I've missed on easy to fix. Maybe me forgetting to send things into a kit. But yes, I am sending that out. Yeah, Tony loves the May box. I love it too, Tony. I think it's a terrific box. All right, let's get started with making this card for today, because I do have another tutorial to get onto at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and that's for the Card of the Month kit subscribers. So if you don't have anything else to do later today, you can also jump in and do that one. So with the 12 by 12 inch paper, as you've seen, I've just gone and trimmed off the little barcode section at the bottom because we don't need that. But basically what you'll be left with is almost a 30 by 30 centimetre, or just over 30 centimetre, 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. It doesn't really matter what size it ends up, as long as it's big, because you can kind of make this basically the same kind of concept, just depending on what size card you're making. So going for a big one today, all you need to do is fold your cardstock in half. Okay, I'm going to get my bone folder, which is lying around somewhere. Just going to burnish that, so because it is such thick stock, it is quite forceful. It needs a bit of extra effort. So I folded that in half vertically, and then I'm just going to fold the bottom of that up to meet the top. So just folding it in half again so that we get a horizontal line. And I'll just go back in and burnish that. You'll see me burnish this multiple times throughout, and it's just because this cardstock is so thick. Just want to give it a good going over. Excellent. So we can just unfold this one. Okay, so if I put it back up the right way, so I've started with this in the bottom corner. It's up to you which way you're going to, what you're going to have showing. With which way you use it is you'll start to see as I fold this up. So if you want to kind of hold off and just see if you want to do it this way or you want to start with it this way, what you're actually going to get as a result. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut along this horizontal line here. Okay, and this is going to form part of the first fold. So what you're going to see from this corner is you're going to end up seeing this piece of paper here. Going to see that. And then this section that comes over here is actually going to be this side of the paper. So I'm doing this back to front to the way that I did it to get this look. Okay, I don't know if that's making sense to anybody at the moment, but as we go along, it sure will. Kim likes the May box. Everybody likes the May box. I think it's beautiful. All right, so we're going to cut just along this this line here. I'm just going to do it with scissors. You may want to do it neatly or more neatly with a ruler and a Stanley knife or a craft knife. It's got a pretty good good line to follow, so I'm just going to go in and just going to cut it freehand today. See what we end up with. Just into the middle there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a line, just a small little mark, about 5 centimeters up from this line on the paper here. Yeah, you might need to watch this one once or twice. It is a tricky kind of intricate one. So I'm just going to give myself a little mark there. You probably can't see that on camera, but I've just put just a little line across here. I'll try and make it a little bit bigger so you can see. So it's just in pencil. No one's ever going to see this. This actually folds in and becomes the inside of that pocket. So don't, if you wanted to measure all the way across, certainly you're more than welcome to. So then we're just going to fold this corner down so that we meet here, and we've got this line and this line as horizontal and vertical to the page. Let's just fold that one over. Again, once you've made this, if you want to go back and change the depth of this particular corner, you absolutely can. The other one, it does become a bit hard. So once we've folded this one over, you may want to put a small amount of adhesive under here, just to keep that flap from not catching things when it drags back out of the pocket later. So I am just going to pop a little bit of double-sided tape down. This is just the Couture Creations double-sided 6mm thin tape. It's easy to tear, you don't need scissors with it, and it just is super easy to pop down. It's very, very thin, so it won't build up on your project. It won't build up height. So I'm just going to do that just to keep that bit flat, and when things go into that little pocket there, they're not going to get caught and have trouble coming back out. So this is how we're looking so far. So this is the starting point. So it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. How are we going? G'day, Sandra Matthews. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we've got that little part done. So I'm just going to leave that open for the moment. The next thing is that we are going to take this bottom right-hand square, and we are going to fold up this corner in the bottom to meet the corner in the middle and make a diagonal fold across here. So again, trying to make it fairly straight. It's so hard to see with how far away this is. Vanessa's brought some other Australiana paper. The timing of this tutorial is fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Vanessa, because Kaisercraft have actually just put out one that is very, very similar to this, which I ordered a lot of, and I'm about to get it in. And yeah, it was kind of like, it didn't come in time to go into this kit, so I'm a bit disappointed for that. But I will find something else because I think these natives are really, really beautiful. Okay, so we've folded this side up. Now again, I'm going to put some tape under this one. Not that it's as far down, like it's, this is going to form, once we fold this over and fold that up, it's going to form the second pocket. It's not essential, but I like to just be sure that my things are not going to fall apart. So I'll just pop a little bit of that tape down here. I am super keen on some native house decorations and artworks that I've seen from some amazing Australian artists over the last couple of months. So I don't know if anyone's seen the Pete Chroma collection. You might have seen the Easter egg, the Happy Easter thing that I put up on Facebook recently. That was a Pete Chroma artwork that he did for Coles, actually. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's another artist who does these beautiful black and white sketches of Australian animals, and they're super, super detailed. Like they kind of, his name's Marini Falazzo. I think that's what it is and how you pronounce it anyway. Excuse me if I've botched that completely. And they're black and white sketches. I'll see if I can find one and put it up on our Facebook page later so you know who I'm talking about. But they're black and white, almost like ink or pen drawings. And he creates the animals out of flowers and leaves, and they're absolutely stunning. I'll put some up on Facebook later on just so you know what I'm talking about. But I got my eye on a few of those to decorate the new house, which we haven't had a look at this week, but we've got things happening, so I'll tell you about that as we go along. Okay, so I've glued this section down, or taped that down. I've taped this section down. So essentially from here, you can just put this together. So you fold this side over, you fold this side up, and then you just fold that one under. That's your card. A couple of pockets. Open the card. Beautiful. So I'm going to leave this as is, and I'll actually put a piece of cardstock on here so that we've got a clear panel to write on. But this is just gorgeous. So actually I'm going to maybe put some vellum over that just to kind of make it nice, but also vellum you could then write over. So I could use a white gel pen and write on that vellum, which would be good. Jocelyn Proust. Yeah, I think I've seen some of her stuff, Vanessa. So yeah, interesting. So this looks really plain, yeah? Doesn't look quite right. I mean, you could certainly leave it like that. Pop an image and a sentiment or something here. You do need to then put some extra glue or tape in. But what I want to do is add these little borders and things like this. So this one I just did a little bit of fringing. You might have some beautiful edge dies, border dies, things like that you might want to cut a strip. But all I've done to make those is I've just cut some strips. Now these are about 1.5 centimeters. Maybe this one might be closer to 2 centimeters. So it just depends on how much of it you want peeking out of your little pocket, or just as a bit of an edger. It's kind of like, think of it like the little handkerchief pocket. You kind of have that nice little stitched edge and things like that. So I think for this one I did green, and I might do just a little thin one for each of these. I think I'll leave the caramel colour out, so we'll use Guacamole and Marekesh. Now all you're going to do is just make sure that you cut some pieces that are just a little bit longer than the diagonal that you're going to put them on. And these little kind of embellishments are great ways to just dress up, your card, and just use up those tiny little pieces of cardstock that we all end up accumulating over the course of forever. Actually, the other thing, I'm gonna save that piece. I'm actually going to put some glitter tape across the edge of this. I'm going to do that. So I'll have glitter tape there and some Marekesh little pokey out fringe up the top. Let's do that. Alrighty. So if I'm going to do glitter tape along here, just take it out of its little box. You see where we're going now, Sharon. Good afternoon, Sue Howe and Cheryl Taylor joining us on Facebook. Thank you for coming along. I hope you get something out of this tutorial today. So I'm just going to grab a bit that's a bit longer. I like this colour. I know, Carrie, if you're watching, I know I saw you unbox your Crafternoon Box the other day, and she said it's meant to be mint colour, but it looks silver. But once you start adding it into a project that has a lot of green or a little bit of green into it, you do start to see the colour kind of starting to pop in there. It is quite subtle, but in some ways I really like that. So it is a little bit like washi tape, this one, guys. It's got a fairly low tack, so you can kind of pop it down where you need it. And then I'm just going to go along and I'm going to try and cut a straight line. Which, you know, this is me we're talking about. Where's my line under there? Look at that. Oh, I did it off camera. So you didn't see any of that. Yeah, can't claim anything great on that one there. Okay, and then I'll just trim this one. So we're just trimming this down to the just to the edges, so we don't have to wrap it around anything. I'm doing this all khaki-handed. Cross myself. There we go. Ta-da! Oh, it's just gone a little bit over that top edge, so I'm just going to nip that off. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually, if you want a slightly thinner, glitter edge there, you could move it halfway along and then wrap it over and, adhere it in the end, and then you're just going to have to trim it on both sides, that's all. Okay, so that's one done. I really like that. Look at that. Woo, going well. So that's that one. This little one, I am going to, just got to keep opening things back out and things like that. So I'm just going to flip this whole project upside down so I can just work on this one down the bottom here. So depending on which side you want facing out, you're obviously going to need to put a little bit of glue along this edge and then pop that down. Okay. Find my glue. I love watching the the subtitles come up on Facebook. It's quite hilarious. It's amazing how technology can kind of catch up and keep up with most of the talking. Okay, so I'm just putting a thin line there. This is just the Turbo Precision glue pen from Couture Creations. So we've got those in the online store. Now you just need to work out how far out you want to have your fringing or border or whatever you want to make it. If you wanted to kind of put it through a die and do a bit of an edge first, you could go through and do a scalloped edge. Yeah, no, Margaret, you're not the only one that doesn't hand cut straight. I'm the queen of not cutting straight. So yeah, you could pre-cut and make a nice edge on it if you've got a die, or you've got fancy pinking shear type scissors that do all different fancy shapes these days. I remember, and Mum will attest to the fact that her pinking shears used to go missing from the sewing cupboard very regularly when I was a youngster. Mum was always chasing me. Have you got my pinking shears? No. And then magically they just appear back in the drawer 5 minutes later. Sorry, Mum. Alrighty, so I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on that just so that it will kind of hold. And I've done it a little bit crooked, a little bit late to fix that now, but that's okay. It'll just be a little point of difference. Maybe I can trim straight. Let's see. So now that I've got that kind of glued down, I'm just going to fold it back over so I can see where it's going to end on the card. I'm just going to trim off these edges just to neaten up my card. Wonderful. And then I have just got my pinking shears are safe these days. Yep. Yeah, one day I'll get my own. I don't really use pinking shears and I'm not sure why. So I'm just going to fringe this edge, guys. So I'm just cutting just some small, it's going to be pretty boring to watch, but just some, couple of millimetre thick little bits. You can leave it plain if you like. You can die cut those edges, as I said before, and just give it a little bit of texture. I kind of like the fringing idea because it's a little bit like the little bits and pieces of the native flowers. And it does mean you can ruffle it up a little bit and add a bit of texture and movement into what you're doing. Fingers crossed we've got some more of these scissors coming back into stock soon. These are the Teflon bladed ones, the black ones. Super sharp, really good size for women's hands. I don't know about men's hands with the big sausage fingers, but certainly for us ladies, it's they're a good size. Mum knows what housewarming present to get you. Vanessa, if she buys me pinking shears, I'm going to be very sad. No, we don't really need anything for the house. Speaking of the house, we're going to go out again tomorrow morning. We haven't been out for a week. We went out last weekend, and the painting is, there's 2 coats of paint on, so we've got 3 coats going on. Our cabinetry had gone in so our island benches, our kitchen, the laundry, all the bathroom and ensuite cabinetry was in. Butler's Pantry was in, it's actually really huge. I think the Butler's Pantry may even be larger than my my new craft room, but my new craft room is going to be so well set up and there's going to be so much storage and workbench that's not going to be a problem. What else went in? The tiles, so all of our wet area tiles, so bathrooms and laundry, they're all in. They look beautiful. It's a bit of a light grey. And this week we had to go on a big hunt last week for the pendant lights that are going over our islands, our kitchen island. So we had to hunt those down, and of course just finding those in Melbourne and them being available. And we learnt a lot of things about lighting last weekend that we, as lighting designers for the theatre industry, domestic lighting, you kind of think it's like just going into a shop and finding the light and they've got it in stock. No, everything we chose was, oh, it's going to take us 3 weeks to get that in, or no, that's discontinued, or I've got one of those, but there's another one in Queensland. But in the end, Beacon Lighting actually came through for us, and they had 2 of each of the items that we wanted in stock. 2 of them were at the store that we went to, and 2 of them were at other stores, but they actually arranged to drop them off to our work site for us so that we didn't have to do the running around. So they couriered them across, and it was absolutely fabulous. So we got really good service at Beacon. So if anyone's looking for some lights, pop in. They've got a pretty good range. All right, I'm just giving this a little bit of a flick to get a little bit of a ripple and some separation between all these. Whoopsies, don't want to tear them off, little fringy bits. There we go. Yeah, so Beacon was the place. So those are going in this week. But they were also going to be doing this week our timber floors. So that's going everywhere except for the bedrooms and obviously where the tiles are. And they were fitting off all the plumbing, and they were fitting off all the electrical power points and that kind of stuff. So hopefully there's something for us to look at when we go back out there tomorrow. Awesome. So if I now have a look at how this is kind of coming up, it's starting to look a bit cute. I'm still not going to stick these down because you never know where things are going to go. There's a very big problem with lighting, with trying to find out what you like. But just reading Mum's comment on Facebook, the Beacon actually has an app where you can take a photo of your space, choose the light that you want, import it in, and you can then resize it into your space so it looks right. And it helps you decide if you are going to like those lights in the space that you're after. So highly recommend that one. Now I'm just going to measure this one up because I haven't really done that yet. So it's about 15 by 15 centimeters, close enough. So I'm going to grab my vellum and my guillotine. I was just having a moment because I was like, how am I going to actually attach this vellum? Good ideas, anyone? So I'm going to cut a piece that's 13 by 13 just to give it a bit of a border around the outside. So we've got these little mini guillotines in our store as well. They are a pre-order item so that we don't have to keep them on hand. But I'm going to be taking this with me on my travels, which I'm going to be going on in July and August, and a little bit of September this year. And I'm going to also get my little corner rounders. We've got 10mm and 5mm round options available in the store. There's a bunch of different colours that they come in. So there's a red one, there's a yellow one and a blue one as well. They come in all different colours for all of the sizes. So it's not like green is this size, red is that size. You could just get a green one for your large, your medium and your small. So that's the kind of bit that I don't like about them, but they are they're perfectly fine. All right, so lovely bit of vellum to go over there. So it just gives that nice little frosted look, and then you've got the slightly more detailed section around. Now, my question is going to be today, do I use the double-sided tape for this, guys? Because we don't want to use liquid glue because it's totally just going to warp everything. I might just try, actually, where's my little, got my little scrap bit that I had before. What have I got? Got that. And I've got a bit of cardstock. So this is how I kind of work. Is I know that this is going to warp and it's going to look disgusting if I put liquid glue under it. But I haven't tried this yet with double-sided tape. Comes out clear, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Of course, we don't really want to see too much of the tape under there. Yeah, see, I don't like it. I don't like it like that. See this? You can kind of see where the tape is. What do we think, guys? Girls? I mean, look, it has got a pattern in it. If I burnish it enough, maybe if I laid my tape straight enough, I could cope with that that darker patch towards the edge perhaps. Or I could just do one section at the top so that it's like a little flap. Ooh, I can use this and just attach it. Could I wrap it around and stick it from behind? I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm gonna go with this. And it tears, so that's even better, because what I can do is try and get it straight. And I can do it almost like a bit of a notebook kind of style. Just tape it down like this. It's a bit rustic, but it's all right. If you've got any other fantastic ideas for vellum, peeps, let us know. So I need some on the sides to make it look a little bit more like it was meant to be, like that, and to hold it down, just so it doesn't get bent. I think it's probably the, I can't find the end. Come on, guys, help me out. Glue dots, Vanessa, would be probably very handy. I still think like any of these kind of gluey type options will kind of leave a bit of a darker spot underneath it. I mean, if you like a really polished look, you could go around the edge of this, you know, and border the whole thing perfectly, or cut a frame die so that you could then put a small amount of glue on the very edges and then put the die frame over the top. That would be a really nice thing. Look, I'm not super happy with this at the moment, but I can easily peel that up and change that out if I want. This is all part of crafting. We can mostly change things. All right, let's go back to the front because the inside's depressing me now. Okay, let's see what... I've already cut some bits and pieces out of this little sheet so that I can put some sentiments on and a little character. Got my little bit of gold thread here. What do we think? I might do happiest of birthdays and pop the little koala on there. I've ended up with just things everywhere on my table as usual. Glue dot. Then a little embellishment over the dot. That's the best idea. I could just cut a little circle of cardstock, like just a hole punch of cardstock. Now you got me thinking. Let's go. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to give it a go because you've suggested it. So let's have a crack at it. Ooh. I don't want to put too much dimension on it because it's on the inside and there's already quite a lot of thickness on the front of it. Excuse me. All right, let's try, because I want it to be quite small. I'm going to frustrate myself and I'm just going to cut just some really tiny squares of double-sided adhesive. I'm going to try and stick it nicely in the corners. And hopefully make it fairly symmetrical. We'll give it a go, ladies. Janet, double-sided sticky sheets. Oh, but if I did double-sided sticky sheets, Janet, wouldn't it, I guess the whole thing would then be the same, but it might be a little bit like that little piece that I did before where it's got, you know, you can just see the adhesive through it. I think covering this a little bit might be the way to go. We're gonna give it a crack. Hopefully it holds everything together. What other ideas have we got, guys? Just vellum's a struggle. We're going to make a vellum envelope in an upcoming tutorial, so we'll try and solve this puzzle before we get to that point. All right, so look over. So over these pattern sections, you can see it's not too obvious if it's blended in with the pattern, but this one just stands out like the proverbial tits on a ball. All right, so it's my little handy, just a normal old hole punch. So I'm going to go and grab, what colour? Might just do a couple off the Marekesh cardstock. I just got to find them, and you know what? This won't be cleaned out. All right, let's do that again. Then I might have half a hope of finding it in there. Take two. Now I know how live TV presenters feel when everything just goes pear-shaped. Live on air. There we go. Now I've got four little things that I can play with here. So they're going to kind of look hopefully a little bit like rivets. They're not as big as I thought they were, but it might just kind of make that look like it's meant to be. How small can I cut double-sided tape? Oh gosh. You guys trying to send me crazy? I'm already crazy enough. Right. This is where those glue dots would come in super handy, Vanessa. I haven't got any on hand right this second. And where are they? Here they are. Just hunting for my tweezers. Oh, What happened there? I cut I cut it when I cut the tape. All right, this is not going to plan. Cut this and then cut the tape down a little bit further just to make it really small. And then I won't cut my circle. That would be a good plan. Good plans are not my forte when it comes to craft. I have a plan, not necessarily a good one. All right. Nope, that's just pulled straight up. That might be a job for a bit of liquid glue, I think. Just the tiniest amount. Yep. All right, liquid glue it is. But I'm going to do that in just a minute. But I think that solves the problem. Is just pop something over there. I mean, hey, I could cut a gum nut or a leaf. A gum nut. Make it look like it's meant to be there. Just a bit of fussy cutting because, you know, I hate fussy cutting. Trim that off. But less fiddly than playing around with little dots. It's kind of the reason that Paper Rose makes these. I'm sure it's not to hide mistakes, but I'm sure it's for a whole range of things. Hate fussy cutting. Chicken, who made a stick with a tiny little bit off the end of it there? That's just silly. That'll do. Nah. No, don't like it. I would actually rather just see that tiny little bit there, and I can put a little bit of glue, bit of these kind of liquid drops or something like that on there if I get really fussy about it. Look, I think if I write over that as the you know, write over it with a nice okay, gel pen, that would look fine. I'm not going to mess around with that. I could use my green embellishments, Tony. I think they're quite thick. And they're going to build up too much thickness in there. But that's a good suggestion as well. All right, gang. Let's not mess around too much more. I'm going to cut out this. I'm going to do koala. Should I do koala or kookaburra? Let me know. What do we think? All right. I'll trim this down while I wait to see if we're going to do koala or kookaburra. Hole punch the glitter tape. Yeah, I think my hole punch is, that's a good idea. My hole punch seems to be just a little bit small. It's a very small circle, but that could work. That could just be the ticket, Vanessa. So I'm just trimming off this. Happiest of birthdays. Little trimmer chopper. Cookie. Say cookie or kooky, Tony? Oh, the kookaburra. The cookie. I was like, what is Tony on about? That makes sense. All right, I'm going to leave this little end on here just because I'm going to use that to tuck underneath. Presumably, we're going to do the kookaburra. All right. You just want to see me fussy cut something that's really fussy. Thanks, Tony. You know what's coming in your next Crafternoon box? A big lump of coal. I promise that won't come in your next box. Not intentionally. What Australia Post puts in though, that's up to them. All right, let's give this little guy a little bit of so many little sticky outy bits that I don't think I'm going to bother cutting around, cutting into. I'll just leave it as quite a big chunky cutout. Just such beautiful colours in this. The paper packs and these little fussy bits. Just gorgeous. Careful not to cut his tail off. Round we go. Up she pops. See, I have to concentrate and not talk too much when I do this, otherwise you lose a beak. Beautiful blue winged kookaburras. My dad actually has some in his, they come down in his backyard. He lives up in Townsville, or near Townsville, and have these beautiful trees over the back fence. And the kookaburras like to come down and come into the backyard. The neighbours next door used to feed them. I don't know if they still do, but they used to feed them like chunks of steak. So they would come down out of the tree and yeah, they would get their little bit of steak and they'd go, and they came down in a particular order. There was a very strong hierarchy for those guys. I think just need something stronger for the kookaburra to just be based on, so I can maybe pop that up a bit. So yeah, watching the kookaburras in the evening was a lot of fun when we go up there. Just glue. A little bit of glue on the back of this. Come on. Waiting for it to do that thing where it just all pops out. Yeah, my tongue was definitely out. And that is exactly why dies were invented, so that you didn't have to do all this fussy cutting. I hate fussy cutting. I don't have the patience for it. I don't think it matters if that goes over the edge a bit. And I'm just going to pop him up on some foam. First, I'll just double-sided tape this down. Now, I know there's some people who are really, really good at layering all their, little fussy cut pieces into a nice little arrangement, and it all looks beautiful. I'm not one of those people. I can never. I've either got too much stuff on there or not enough stuff on there, where it's just doesn't sit the way I would like it to sit. I get a bit cranky with it. So I'll pop that up just a little bit higher there. Put the lid on my glue before that all goes terrible. And I've got just our double-sided foam tape Couture Creations. And actually, before I do that, I'm just going to play with a bit of twine today. It's going to take a bit. I'm going to strip out the gold thread actually, not use the white bit, just to do something annoying and fiddly and drive me up the wall even more. That's in half. Why do I do these silly things? Lots of dimension, like Jennifer Maguire. Dimension's good, but like there is such a thing as too much. Jennifer does some amazing stuff. Hers has always got plenty of dimension. Come on, I've just managed to tie a knot in it. Oh dear. What is going on? Just had to use my mouth to hold that piece. All right, so I've got one piece of the gold out there, and I'm just going to get this one out too. Anytime today, Tangy. Here we go. Okay. So on the back of my kookaburra, I'm just going to put a little bit of the double-sided regular tape, a couple of little bits of that. And that's just going to hold my gold thread. Oops, that's a bit big. Getting a little carried away. All right, here we go. Just wrap it around. A bit there. Make it a little bit messy. Where's my kookaburra? Which way did he go? Put that out to the side of him out here. So I've just kind of haphazardly wound that around. I just want the ends to be tucked in and taped down, but all of these bits can kind of hang out and do what they do. And that's going to go just sort of up like that. What's going on with that bit? It's doing its own thing. It's got its own vibe going on. So this is fine. I'm just going to put some foam tape on the underside of our little friend so that he pops up. Bit down the tail. And whoop, some across the middle here. That'll hold him. Happy days. My budgie is going off her brain in the other room. I don't know what's exciting her at the moment, but she's making a racket. It's probably because there's nobody out there talking to her. So she's trying to talk to the outside birds, I think. There we go. A little cookie. Grab a couple of little pearls. Gosh, she's going to town. Do a big one because there's a lot of thickness here, but not a lot of thickness up in the top corner up here. So I'm just gonna. God, I thought that had come back with me, but it didn't. Just our little unofficial rule of three embellishments. Here we go. Look at that. Now, who said? Vanessa said, let's try this little. I don't know how this is going to go, being sticky and going into a hole punch, but let's have a go at it. Let's see how we go. Get that in there. You watch it stick to everything, and not what I wanted it to. All right, here we go. Look at this. Ooh, look at this, Vanessa. This might work. Hold this over. There we go. That's not half bad. It's like, there you go, guys. Just hole punch your washi tape. It's all good. Hides all our little tape. Pops in some little sparkly rivets. They kind of look like the little sparkly wattle. I tell you what, it is a little bit of a pain to get into your hole punch though. Come here. Oh, that was not where it needed to get hole punched. Here we go. Look at this. Happy days. One more. Ta-da! That looks sensational. I might be a little bit off on my on my corners, but that just covered up those quite nicely. Now we just need to finish off the, now that we've done all of this kind of stuff, I probably shouldn't have stuck my kookaburra on until now, but I'm just going to run some tape in here. So this is for your big fold for the front one, because obviously you don't want this to kind of undo. It's not going to hold anything in very tightly. So you're going to want to tape this section across the bottom and this section down the side. Nearly done. Now, depending on what you're actually going to put in this pocket, yeah, but it's sticky, Sharon, so I can just cut it, hole punch it, and it sticks on. But no, you're right. There's probably an easy way to have done it. Yeah, so if you're putting something that's not very big in here, you could also tape across a little bit more of the pocket, so it's just a narrower pocket to fit your things in. Totally up to you. Fold that over, give it a bit of a push, so then that's not going to flap open. And then I should have taped this one first, but I just need to obviously pop some tape into this section and up here so that that pocket also will not open. Here we go, I've done this, do the smaller pocket first, guys, because I could actually have unfolded all of this to do this bit, but I'm just going to sneak a bit of double-sided tape in there. I'm not going to tape the top off yet, because I will get this piece in as well, and then I'll take the two backing papers off and we'll be able to close that up nicely. Okay. God, what a drop kick I've been today. Can't cover up vellum, can't do anything else. Crazy. There we go. All right, backing papers off. Flatten that down. Fold her up. She's ready to go. So you can now pop anything you like into those two little pockets, and see they're not gonna, this isn't coming apart on the sides, your things aren't gonna fall out. But that's the card for today. Come back to see what is going on. I hope you're all doing well with your little projects in the background. Perhaps you've not made yours today. You've just watched the crazy that's been going on. There's so much mess on my desk right now. It's unbelievable. But thank you so much for listening to me waffle on for an hour and get that card done. I think the pockets are a really great way to make a variety of cards so that you can add little bits and pieces into it for a nice gift. As I said before, we'll be back a little bit later today, so in about an hour's time, pop back and do the card of the month kit. And just as a little, oops, things going everywhere, this is the little, oops, get it in front of actual light, that's not going to be terrible. So little mini envelopes card that we're going to make. So these are like, it's like the little jolly postman with a little bit inside, and then just opens out into just your regular write it inside. So that's the card we're going to be making today. So come back and join us at 4 o'clock, or if you're watching the replays, you can go and hunt that one out once it's been recorded and uploaded. Don't forget the kits for the Cancer Council fundraiser for the 29th of May are closing on Wednesday. So if you have not yet got your kits, jump in so that we can get them out to you in time for the event on the 29th of May. They're $25 a kit. You'll make 4 daffodils, so it's great if you've got a couple of friends to come around and you can have an afternoon tea and watch the live and get involved with making that. $10 from each kit is going to go to the Cancer Council. Thank you to everybody who has purchased a kit so far. I think we're up to about 10 kits, so that's great. Lots of money heading off to the Cancer Council there. And we will be back again next week for another tutorial for the Crafternoon Box. So thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you a bit later.